Hello and welcome. My name is Alan Rich and I want to welcome you to the Be Magical video. This one is how to keep people attracted to you. How to keep them hanging out with you and not trying to avoid you or run away. Let's say you're out at a nice romantic restaurant. You're with a person you really like. And you're having dinner and everything's going great and you're sitting next to each other and you're talking, but then you notice that their breath is really horrible. Now what do? You might try and back away a little bit, but they might lean in a little bit. And you might try and avoid them by going to one side or the other. And what do? They just pivot their head, following you like heat-seeking bad breath. And then maybe you try and breathe through your mouth so you don't have to breathe it. Most likely, you're not going to say anything. But how are you going to feel? Are you going to feel like, oh, I want to keep hanging around this person? Oh, I can't wait to get that first kiss. Probably not. You're probably going to be, I think I gotta get going. Hey, great seeing you. Now, let's flip this around. Let's say you're the one with bad breath. Do they ever tell you? No. And what's worse than that is that we don't always know or we can't tell if we have bad breath because we get used to the smell. It's like living by a trash heap. You just get used to the smell and you won't be able to tell. So people might be making excuses to leave or sit further down the table and you have no clue why that is. I want to give you a few little tips to have minty fresh breath throughout the day. One of the problems is people wake up in the morning, they have breakfast, they brush their teeth, they go off to work. And maybe on the way to work, they stop and they grab a coffee. They drink their coffee, maybe even they smoke a cigarette. And then they get to the office, maybe at 10:30, they have something like a donut or a pastry or something kind of sugary. Then they go to lunch and maybe they have a hot pastrami sandwich. And then they go to a business meeting. How wonderful is their breath going to be at that moment? Not so good. I always keep a toothbrush and toothpaste and floss just in case in a little bag in my car. So if I'm about to go perform at a show, I'm going to brush my teeth before I go in. Bad breath comes from bacteria in your mouth and in your gums. So you could brush your teeth and still have bad breath. Now you might have some internal situations going on, and I know Breath Assure is actually something that's pretty good. It's not super cheap, but that goes into the digestive system and that can help bad breath. But there's something else that my dentist showed me. My dentist is awesome. He's here in LA, and he showed me something I had no awareness about. He showed me that on my tongue, there was bacteria growing, and it looked like a strawberry patch. I had no clue that I had this. So what did he do? He showed me this little tool right here, the tongue scraper. So every night I would scrape my tongue, went back to the dentist. A few months later, guess what? Strawberry patch was still there. But where? Not in the front of the tongue, but way in the back of the tongue. Because when I would go like this, I would get the gag reflex. I wouldn't go all the way to the back of the tongue. But he showed me a nice little technique. So first of all, there's two sides. There's a rougher side and a smoother side. You want to find the smoother side because you want to be very gentle on your tongue. here's what you do. Let's say this is my tongue. And it goes all the way back here. And let's say this part up here is where the gag starts. So instead of going backwards, I push my tongue forward like this. And then pull my tongue back, and it gets fully scraped. So I go like this, stick my tongue forward, scrape. Gets all the way in the back. Now, when I first started doing that, you should have seen the goop that was coming out of there, brown stuff, and well, it wasn't pretty. After about 2 or 3 weeks, all of a sudden, whoa, this is clear again. And then the next time I saw him, no problem. All that bacteria, all that stuff was cleared up and gone. So I could have minty fresh breath again. The other thing is you want to do it in the middle once, again gently, rinse it off, then the side and the side. So basically you're getting your whole tongue. A very powerful tool, almost like a magic wand, and it will make you magical.